Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Om. So, verse 93, yeah? The verses, let me close this one here. Just a moment, please. Otherwise, this person is going to keep it. Contact me here. We have seen last class the verse 92, right? And now we're beginning with the 93. They are both very similar. By nature, all jivas are self-evident, it was said, and let me at least take the sound away. By nature, all jivas are self-evident and evident from the very beginning. He who enjoys contentment with this knowledge is fit for immortality. So we have seen this. It's a beautiful unfoldment presented here, and we enjoyed. We had a good time. So, and then the following verse says, 93, page 316, 316. By nature, all jivas are totally free. They are unborn, uniform, divisionless, and peaceful from the very beginning. Atma is indeed unborn, uniform, and pure. So by nature, I mean, the true nature of all jivas is moksha. By nature, all jivas are totally moksha, totally free. So, but here it's referring to the body-mind sense complex as technically called jiva atmas, jiva plus atma. So by nature, all living human jivas, which are jiva atma, they are alive because they have an atma, they have a self. They have consciousness as the principle, the truth principle supporting this construct called so-and-so body-mind person. So by nature, all jiva atmas are totally moksha, totally free, and they were never born. They are uniform, means to say they are not subject to modification, change. But I'm getting old, gray hair, no hair. Yeah, but you are not the body-mind. Your true nature is free, limitless conscious existence, and the jiva atma is constituted by atma plus matter / energy. So your atma, so that's why I came up with this concept, jiva atma, the atma of the jiva by nature. By nature, the jiva atma is the atma. Therefore, the atma of the jiva is totally free. It was never born. It is uniform, never changed. It has no division, duality, separation. And then the last aspect is the palam of having this understanding, the fruits of this understanding, is that you enjoy peace. So once the Jivatma understand that he is made up of consciousness plus matter, and he decides to embrace his true nature as consciousness, and then invariably, this Jivatma is going to enjoy a peace which passes any possible understanding, because it's not coming from the circumstance of the anatma, it's coming from one's very nature as the atma, which is one without the second. You see, if you are one without the second, if you are beyond time and space because you are not subject to birth and death, if there is nothing other than you, and then what happens to that? You're going to experience incredible peace. That nothing that can threat you, even Shiva, time that destroys everything, cannot touch you. And how is that possible? It's possible by shifting one's identity from the Jiva, who believes that has consciousness, to consciousness who use a body-mind jiva construct. So this is the shift. And then this jiva Atma owning and claiming its true nature as limitless consciousness, which is free and independent of the body-mind and the world experience through the body-mind. This jiva is beyond time, beyond space, beyond change, beyond division. Separated means to say there is nothing other than itself. Therefore, there is no fear of anybody, come and taking something away from you. This night, some people came here and took some chicken. So I have been busy today trying to fix my fence and secure a little bit better the property. So, but just imagine if it was only me in this universe, me and my chicken. Let's keep the chickens as well to give me some company. And then I'm the only jiva, and my chickens are other jivas. There is not, and then I relax. Nobody's gonna take anything. And moreover, my body mind is immortal. Oh, legal, good, maravilhoso. And then the chickens are also, eternal, immortal. They are never going to die. They make so many eggs, so I don't need anything. So I'm going to be very, very at ease and peaceful with my living experience. So it says that we are peaceful from the very beginning of times. Even before time began, there is this peace, which is inherent to our true nature as the Atma. And then in the end, he says, Atma, the self, Atma, is indeed unborn. It's uniform and it's pure. So pure is another way to indicate that there is no inclusion. There is not even a small inclusion upon myself as limitless consciousness. There's nothing. Any inclusion can come only in the realm of the superimposition of the gunas of Maya. Gunas of Maya are going to add what? Project what? Superimpose what? Some properties and qualities and attributes to over consciousness. But consciousness allows these superimpositions, but nothing will be attached to it. Nothing is going to impact it. And this is what we are. So it means to say, we are so pure. We are so free from this world that nothing can really touch our true nature. Therefore, the importance of preserving our soul, let's say, in a time that there is so much effort coming from dark force to erase the human soul, which to me is something in the lines of the human free will, is what represents an individual soul. So our soul is what allows us to get this knowledge. I'm totally free as consciousness, and I embrace and I claim my true nature as consciousness, totally beyond time, change, and division. Therefore, I enjoy this peace that passes all understanding. When? From the very beginning, but just recently I claimed this, and only now I'm really appreciating and enjoying. But this peace is my nature, this freedom is my nature from the very beginning. But unless we claim it, we embrace it, we are going to be experiencing what? Those superimpositions, which are identification with what? The gunas of Maya, which was superimposed on myself as consciousness. Now I feel that I am the person, the body-mind. Do you understand? And then Swami says, every Jivatma is consciousness to real by nature. And it's impossible for you as consciousness to be disturbed at any time. It is impossible. And then what gets disturbed? The mind. And then he goes and says, the mind is subject to temporary disturbance and temporary peace. Isn't it? You may enjoy a nice peace, and then comes a disturbing thought in your mind, and then immediately that peace was disturbed. And then he said, generally, we human jivas, we know the peace we experience, we know is just a gap between two disturbances, very honestly put. Most jivatmas, the ones that do not have this knowledge, the ones that even if they have this knowledge, the knowledge was not internalized enough to offset the power of thoughts affecting one's experience, making one to experience disturbance, and agitation, preoccupation, concerns, emotional concerns. No? So most people are samsaris, they experience a lot of disturbance, emotional, mental, but here and there they experience some peace. So as we grow in this self-knowledge, and as we internalize this self-knowledge, we experience more and more peace with some intervals of disturbance in between my peace. It reverses things. The mind is subject to fluctuation, and that is a fact. And even in the mind of the Yani. But I, who is different from the mind and who is the witness consciousness, the Shakshi, Chaitanya, I am Shantam, Shivam, and Advaitam. So this is, again, one of those pointers that says the mind is subject to fluctuation. The mind is the instrument of experience. The mind is subject to fluctuation and experience favorable and unfavorable circumstance. And it tends to identify desire, those favorable circumstances, and get a little bit disturbed, or big time disturbed with unfavorable circumstance. And then say the mind is like that. There is no way out. The mind is going to be subject to those fluctuations. But I am the witness consciousness. You see, the Jiva Atma is a mixture of both. It is the body-mind. It is the mind. It's the physical body that somehow, holds the mind. So the mind can interact with this physical, tangible reality. We need a physical body. So the body is there. The mind is sitting on this body and interacting with the physical Vyavaharika. But there is something beyond the mind, which is not fluctuating. It's not changing. The mind is going to be fluctuating. But this consciousness, which is my higher nature, my superior nature, my true nature, however we want to put it, is not subject to fluctuation. I am the witness, conscious, Sakshi, Chaitanya. So how the Jiva Atma, how is the body-mind going to enjoy something that is inherent to consciousness, which is not an experiencing entity? So can you guys explain that to us?
Only by truly knowing itself to be that can it experience that peace.
And how does that come about, Mark?
Through Shravana, Manana, and Nidhyidasana.
Okay.
Through constant application of the knowledge. And when the mind goes off on one, just sitting there and witnessing the mind and realizing that we're not the mind, and the thoughts, they come and go, and I'm a witness to them, and they're there and then they're not there.
Yeah.
But I'm constantly always present in peace.
Yeah. Well said.
As peace.
Anything else from you, Lynn?
I think also that when the Shastra works on the intellect sort of gets more, well, the word is clear, of course, but it's like it's a gossamer. It's almost the Shanti, the Turiya kind of reflects right through and just saturates the environment in a way, the environment of the body, mind, sense complex, perception of Vyavaharika, it all changes.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. This is the description of Mark is more from the standpoint of sadhana. Okay, you need to do that sadhana, and he described very good. And now you are describing the way you experience an undisturbed mind from the experiential level is that the teachings are going to pacify the mind, and then it becomes a good reflector of our true nature, and then we enjoy a certain ananda, which is equivalent of a non-disturbed mind, okay? And now I'm going to present another aspect to it with the mechanism by which the Jiva Atma can enjoy something which is inherent to its true nature as Sakshi Chaitanya, which is consciousness, which is not fluctuating, it's not changing, it's free and independent from the mind. So what is the mechanism that allows the Jiva Atma, who is the mind? And here say the mind is always going to experience a certain degree of disturbance and blah, 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 blah. So, but this moksha, this knowledge, is meant to free this Jiva Atma, this human being, from mental disturbance to a large extent. So how does that happen? What is the mechanism? The mechanism is very simple. The scriptures, as Lynn is told us, explained us nicely, the scripture is going to reveal to us our true nature. No? And our true nature is Satchitananda, Satchitananda Brahman, let's say, Turiya. Right? So that's our true nature, what I am in reality. You know, what I am in reality is, you remember the joke of the guy who was stripping that he was a worm, and then once he was cured, he learned, no, I am a human being. And then the joke says that he was not totally cured, but at the end of the final end of the joke is he was cured, and then he never again was disturbed by that thought, I am a worm and I'm afraid to go out. Why? He got the knowledge, okay? So I'm just adding to that analogy. But how does that happen? What is the mechanism? The mechanism is very simple. As long as I'm moved by vasanas, notions about myself, which are totally rooted on this fundamental ignorance, I am the body-mind. So the body-mind is nothing but vasanas at play. The body is mind complex under the spell of vidya, and not only says, I am the body-mind, no, but this I am the body-mind is equivalent of a load of ragas and dvesha, a load of likes and dislikes, wants and no wants. So these desires and aversions, desires and fears is the manifestation of this fundamental avidya, aham, body, mind, as me. So the mind, when it is under the spell of this ignorance, it is full packed with likes and dislikes, okay? Desires and aversions. And since it is impossible to control the field of experience, you know, we cannot really control the anatma field of experience. So we experience disturbance all the time. Disturbance when we want things our way, disturbance when we are having obstacles, and disturbance when I'm totally frustrated. So the mind is constantly concerned, disturbed, preoccupied, because the mind did not really understood its true nature as consciousness, okay? So the mechanism is very simple. This knowledge is going, because the description of Mark is more than nididhyasana, which is very important. So just again and again, applying the teach, until what? Until the teaching is so clear and so well internalized that it's going to shrink those tendencies of wanting things and circumstances so that I can feel myself to be happy, secure, and well accomplished. Okay? So all those vasanas based on ignorance need to go to the extent, to the degree that we assimilate these teachings that are pointing to our true nature, which is one without a second, totally free, unborn, uniform, divisionless, and peaceful consciousness, Atma. No? So to the degree that we really understand our true nature, and that requires nididhyasana, contemplation on this final verse of the Mandukya, profound nididhyasana. We are doing now nididhyasana, by the way. So as we do that, these teachings, they sink in, and then what happens? It somehow it has to occupy some room in our unconscious mind, in our causal body, and there is a limitation of space, and then it has to, push out those ignorant vasanas. It's just a joke, but it neutralizes because light dispels ignorance. Okay. So that's the mechanism. This piece has been there for beginning last time. It's my true nature. Because I am consciousness Turiya, but Satchitananda Brahman, I'm free from the world, I'm free from my body-mind instrument, and I'm free from samsara, cycle, almost endless cycle of birth and death. Freedom from rebirth is freedom from the misconception that I was born and I will die, therefore I will rebirth. So those concepts have to go to the extent, only to the degree that I understand that this I, in reality, it points to one's true nature. Now, we should never identify with something which is not our fundamental nature, because so many things are added to us again and again and again. Let's suppose, oh, I'm grown up, finally understood I am a human being. Well, I'm maybe 12 or 13 or 2. And then later on, I discover what? Oh, but I am a husband now. Oh, I am a father. Oh, I am a son. So there will be so many other notions attached to this I, the person. Okay. So this I, the person, can get very, very confused, trying to play so many roles, and goes into an identity crisis because does not know who the heck this person is, and then the person would have to go back. No, all I am is just a person. I don't want to be identified with any role, because any role come and go, but the thing is that even the person has a birth and death, unless this person understood one's true fundamental nature, that which is beyond time, that's beyond attributes, qualities, property, that which is eternal in peace. So I need to understand if I want to enjoy this freedom, and this understanding is going to produce freedom, but the scriptures promise that will end the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. All of these misconceptions that are present in the Vedas for the sake of the junior students of Vedanta. Misconception is in the mind, and no correction is needed anywhere else. So you have to work on your mind, the conception, the notions you have about what you are. The notions we have so profoundly hardwired about what we are. We are not a worm, we are not a frog, we are not the roles we play in life. We are just consciousness. All the Jiva-Atmas are the same consciousness. And each one of us, in truth, is the same thing. It's only consciousness. There is no difference between my consciousness and Lynn's consciousness, Mark's consciousness. We are all one consciousness. The mind is different, but we need to learn to live in this anatma world interact with so many different minds, different programs. Okay, it's a program with different programs. Seeing the fundamental nature of every program, because if we stay only on the level of the program, there is what? Conflict all the time. Yanis claim this fact, but the Aynianis refuse to claim this fact. There is only one consciousness, and we all are that consciousness. And then he concludes his commentary here, says, as Vishwa, jivas are different. So if you look at the jiva from the standpoint of the body-mind, you see plurality, diversity, difference, big time. All the difference are huge. Yeah? But from the Atma angle, all jivas are the same consciousness. All jivas are birthless, sameness, and purity, which is everyone's nature. Anything else? Verse 94, there can be no purity at all for those who dwell upon separatedness all the time. So this is very important. Dualists are inclined to the idea of division, separation, separatedness. Therefore, they are considered to be unfortunate. Again, in the end, he's not going to help himself, and he's going to poke on all the dualists, the philosophers that wrote or they propagate these dualistic philosophies. They are unfortunate. They did not understand. There can be no purity at all for those who dwell upon division, duality, separatedness all the time. So how we do that? How the Anyani can again and again dwell upon division, separatedness, duality. Old habit, as it says, die and die hard. So old vasanas, everybody here is going to experience objects in the awakened state. And this division is there. It needs to be offset, needs to be neutralized by the understanding that the sky is not really blue. The mirage is just a projection. You cannot attribute reality all the time to this Vyavaharika world and expect to have a pure and undisturbed mind. If you keep attributing reality to it, you're going to be disturbed all the time. There will be no purity. Purity here goes to peace, because another aspect is that in connection to what we saw before in the previous verse, is that this knowledge, once this self-knowledge is properly internalized, what happens is that it purifies the mind. So purifies of what? Of ragas and diversions, desires and aversions. How so? I understood, that I'm the ocean, so now I'm not going to be all excited about a small lake or small little pond or anything like that. There's nothing that can be added to me because I understood my true nature. So the purity of mind is which allows peace, shanti. And the purity, what is a purity? Avidya, ignorance, and avidya is nothing but this constant dwelling upon duality as reality, attribute reality to the objects into this Vyavaharika world, again and again, attributing reality. So purity, it means to say, this attribution of reality came to an end. Separatedness, duality, the world continues to appear, but it does not affect you as it does affect the samsari. Because I have a mental purity. So what was the impurity? Attribution of reality to duality, all those mechanisms, mental mechanisms that keeps feeding into this ignorance, creating more and more samsara. Dualists are inclined to this attribution of reality to duality. They are inclined to the idea of I am one thing and the world is another thing, and there are other people looking like me as well, but we are all divided. Dvaita Vedanta means there is no division because everything is only consciousness. And we consider all these people, these Dvaita people, unfortunate. In the previous verse, the first message that whatever we want, we already have, already are, and that we have to learn just to understand it and claim it as a fact. To claim it as a fact is the final nididhyasana. Claiming this as a fact leads to a peaceful mind, relaxed mind. No problematic mind, undisturbed mind, claiming this as a fact. Then we should turn our attention. To anathema. First you claim, and then you live in the anathema. You're okay with it. It's your karma that brought you here. And then you look into the anathema. You interact to the anathema. But always remember that anathema is just an apparent superimposition, such as a mirage occurring within myself. Anathema does not have a life or a reality on its own, or existence of its own. It's just an appearance. And I am the only reality, the light of consciousness, or the mirror-like consciousness reflecting this anathema world, or the light of consciousness illumining and revealing this projection caused by the power of Maya. And then he goes on to say, and then you live in this anathema. You turn your attention to anathema. Do not neglect anathema. Turn your attention and be a good visual. Take care of your environment, clean your house, wash the dish, take care of the body, and try to make a nice environment around you, but never connect your peace to a perfect environment. There is no such a thing as a perfect environment. Everything is changing all the time. You have no power to control the conditions of the anathema world. If one's fulfillment is connected to changing or manipulating or controlling the anathema world, the fulfillment will never come consistently. So here and there, you're going to experience some favorable circumstance. You think, oh, I manage, I can control the field and get only favorable circumstance. No, it's a small gap here and there in between unfavorable circumstance. You're going to experience a little peaceful mind here and there, but not more than that. You need to approach anathema objectively with the understanding that you do not have control over anathema. Basic Kama Yoga. Who has the control? Maya Ishvara. Maya Ishvara. How so? They know they have the laws among them, the karmic law. Karma is the way that everything is controlled here. And then it says, so understand that you do not have control, but you have a certain responsibility. What responsibility? Oh, I was giving free will, intellectual, which is capable of making choice that are going to affect my my destiny, my prarabdha. So I should never neglect that responsibility, but I should keep objective view and understanding that I have no real control over tomorrow. I can only contribute to my best. Okay? I can contribute your best, my best, whether it is to improve my body, improve my mind, improve my property, secure my property, protect my chickens. So, I mean, we don't have real control. You do not have any control over this pancha anatima. No? This material world is absolutely under the jurisdiction of Ishvara and its laws. Anatima cannot be controlled by any jiva. And then he goes to the extreme to say anatima cannot be controlled even by Ishvara, the Lord. And I say, oh, what? Ishvara cannot control? Yeah, no, it is Ishvara in another language, no? What's going on here? I lost you guys. But it is Ishvara through the laws of karma. So what he's saying that anatima cannot even be controlled by Ishvara. What is it? Anatima cannot be controlled by jivas or Ishvara. Ishvara has no say in controlling, the field, the parabola, Why? Because Ishvara is not alone in this game. Ishvara is going to provide us with the results. It gives back to us our parabola. Ishvara has no control. Who has control? The totality of all factors in this game we call life, which includes my free will, which allows me the responsibility and the power to make good decisions that can contribute positively to the Dharma field, let's say. Not even Ishvara has total control. Everything is controlled by laws and principles, being the karma, the most fundamental in reference to the human jivas. So be careful. It does not mean that you should just fall to fatalism, because you have, this is a very nice experience, a contributing free will, If everybody would contribute, with good actions, we would be living in a much better world. No? Why people not contribute with good actions and good thoughts? Because somehow we are living through a very extreme adharmic era, period of time, With this awareness, you are free as Atma. You can contribute because you have a contributing power. You can contribute to the Dharma field, to the extent that you observe Dharma and you grow in your spiritual knowledge. And then you just live in harmony with the laws and principles of Ishvara that somehow holds this Dharma field, this entire projection together. So this is the life of a Jivan Mukta. He's free, but he does not neglect this responsibility. This responsibility was given to each one of us of contributing through our free will, creating a better world. The moment you start controlling, trying to really manipulate and control anatima, you're going to suffer samsara because your expectation will not be really fulfilled. Samsara is endless complaints of the world. That's very nice, very practical, very direct. Samsara manifests itself as constant complaint about the world. Oh, no, we should not. I don't want this. I should have done this, should have done that. I should not be here, should be there. Where I'm going to go, I don't know. So samsara is endless complaint. And you cannot, it's not worth complaining to something that you cannot helmet really control. Whatever you seek, you must claim as yourself. If you are seeking peace, don't expect to find peace outside in the world, but know it to be inherent to yourself, your true nature. Anything you want to gain in life, know that It's there in your true nature, because everybody wants the best possible, human experience, and that's only possible to the extent that you claim your true nature. From the 94th verse, which is this one? Yeah. From this verse, the second message is that Advaitam is the reality, and Advaitam is mithya. The second passage says, Dualists are inclined to the idea of duality. It's very unfortunate to them. So you can handle Advaitam, but never get obsessed with Advaitam. Advaitam is obsession with the world, and it's going to affect your mind, producing disturbance. If you are too preoccupied with the world, the circumstance of the world, you're gonna suffer of samsara. Don't get overexcited or over preoccupied with the world. The Advaitam obsession is causing samsara, but Advaitam perception is not samsara. So again, the same point. Don't think that samsara is going to disappear. Don't think that duality is going to disappear. Don't think that Advaita division is going to disappear. What is this division? I, the experience, and the world I experience. I, the knower, and the known objects of the world. This duality, I, the visual, and the universe, Vyavaharika, is going to continue. Advaita perception by itself does not cause disturbance, mental disturbance. The belief that Advaita is reality, vision is reality, is what causes obsession, and obsession is going to bring about preoccupation, frustration, and disturb the mind. Okay? Those people who are all the time dwelling upon Advaita. Why? Because they have too much raga and devotion. That's the key. Those people who are all the time dwelling upon Advaita, with raga and devotion, leading to mental preoccupation and disturbance, do not have any mental clarity. It does not have good sattva guna, which gives clarity. It does not have a relaxed mind, does not have a pure mind. Why? Because it is under the tyranny of likes and dislikes, ragas and devotions, and frustration that always follows this obsession with what I like and what I don't like. Therefore, those people who are all the time dwelling upon Advaita, they do so because they are under the spell of avidya, which is raga and dvesha control the mind, wanting things, wanting to hold, wanting to avoid, and it becomes an obsession, and it's going to come huge mental disturbance, preoccupation, and it's going to compromise even one's discrimination, because the mind that is all the time preoccupied, concerned, is going to lose clarity, is going to lose viveka, is going to lose dispassion. Everything is compromised due to excess of raga and dvesha. Purity of mind is what calls calmness. Purity of mind. So my mind is pure. How so? What did you do? I took a pill and it dissolves most of my ragas and dveshas. Just imagine. No, they create a new, very pure, and it's not from the pharmaceutical industry, but it is from Chinese medicine. Very natural herbs, I take that and then, I don't have ragas and devotions. It's not a drug. you know? It's just something that Ishvara has given to us. And then if I dissolve my raga and dvesha, I experience calmness of mind, peace of mind. So, and then what is the whole game here? The process which connect with the first time, for the previous verse that I invite you guys to participate, is to develop a pure mind, a calm mind, you know, a clear mind, sattvic mind. You know. How you do that? By understanding one's true nature. But the beginning, you have to understand Mitya, understand Ishvara, and that is going to minimize the impact of ragas and dveshans. If you really understand that you do not have control and you develop a certain trust in the laws of the Lord. Lord is mostly the easily understood and experienced as the law of karma, as we know. So you trust the Lord, yes, and then you accept what? A good situation, good circumstance, good karma, punya, papan, you know that everything is following its laws and serves a certain purpose. Therefore, it's all prasada, you know, an opportunity to learn. A constantly disturbed mind alone is what we call impure mind. How to neutralize or cancel or transform this impure mind, knowledge and knowledge alone. Because the problem here is wrong knowledge. What are the wrong knowledge? I am the body mind, and the body mind is but a sack, a bag, a load of likes and dislikes, desires and aversions. And that load of desires and aversions is going to constantly disturb the mind. That's the impurity, excess of raga dvesha. Is it very clear, isn't it? So we need to look into our mental condition, because as Vedanta says the process begins with Kama Yoga, because Kama Yoga is nature purifier. To the degree that I really understood this relationship with the Creator, with Ishvara, which is best represented as the law of karma. You understand? Even obsession with one's worldly duties. I'm a father, I'm a mother, and I'm so focused and I'm so concerned. I want to be perfect. Even if you are overly obsessed with things that could be said to be good, can cause a disturbed mind, which is also samsara, what he's pointing to here. Abiding desire to be good, binding desire to protect your son, binding desire to contribute to the field. Anything that's binding is going to create a delusion that, so now I'm really serious about controlling the Dharma field and have a positive impact. Even in reference to my roles and duties, if I get too serious about them, I'm going to be frustrated and suffer again from samsara. All dualistic philosophers, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisesika, Purva Mimamsa, Dvaita Vedanta, and another Vedanta, Vishista Dvaita Vedanta, all of these accept duality as reality. And they end up dwelling upon differences. You know, they are inclined toward differences, and they are unfortunate to do so. There is a significant statement in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad which says, as long as there is a second thing, there will be fear and disturbance. If you, any moment that you feel I'm not alone here, And then there is a sense of insecurity. There is a sense of fear. Interacting with a second principle, a second person or object. And then he goes and explains the mechanism that I was trying to bring up in our conversation. Interact with a second thing or person or object. Just imagine you are alone in this planet here, and then appears another person. And then you're going to interact with that person. And then you're going to unavoidably develop a sense of attraction or repulsion towards that person. And then come more people, let's say they are all from other planets. They come and say, oh, this I like, that I don't like. They bring an object, they start feeling this emptiness with objects of all kinds. And I say, oh, this I like, this I don't like, this I like, this I don't like. Interacting with the field of objects unavoidably produce raga and dvesha. It's the mechanism that sometimes I describe as a magnet pull of attraction and repulsion towards everything which is in our environment. Vairagya is due to a certain understanding that all these objects are just superimposition upon myself. Therefore, there is no need to feel all excited or preoccupied or afraid of these things which are just holographic projections. Interact with a second person believing or believing that all of these are real is going to produce desires and aversion. Both cause fear in two different ways. Raga and aversion is going to cause fear in two different ways. Fear of what? Raga. Fear of departure. When you have something, you're always afraid to lose it. Fear of arrival. If there is something that I don't like, I'm always afraid that it may come to visit me. So desire for something brings about stress. Gaining something brings about disturbance. Disturbance is the fear that how I'm going to keep it forever, how I'm going to maintain it. And my aversions is what I'm all the time, censoring and looking around to see if I manage to push it. So that never comes. Fear of arrival and fear of having things go. All of that is due to divided vision, attribution of reality to the objects which are experienced by the subject, jiva Atma, who is not aware of its true nature as Atma, the only principle, the only reality. And then again, he repeats the same principle, the same concept. Advaitin also experienced duality, but she does not see anything different from herself. That's the potential. The potential is this one. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. We were born out of this ignorance, come to the point of living, enjoying the fruits of this knowledge to this extent, requires such a consolidation of self-knowledge to the degree of totally transform one's experience, not to improve one's experience. My take, that's why I say my take is that self-knowledge somehow represent the beginning of spiritual evolution, because then this internalization or fortitude of self-knowledge, consolidation, howsoever we want to put it, it's going to have the power to keep offsetting or neutralizing bits and pieces of ignorance that cause us to still experience some raga and aversion. The raga and aversion, they become more and more shallow and superficial. They come and they don't visit. But to come to the point, I've never experienced any of this, Is it possible as a human being? Maybe. That's why I say the self-knowledge somehow marks the beginning of this process of purification. Some people may say, oh, purification does not mean anything because I know I am the self. Okay, good luck. But you know the self, you have searched this knowledge, I am Brahman, for the sake of what? Of being a pure and beautiful person. And purity of mind means to say, I almost no longer experience disturbance, which means to say I don't experience desires and aversions, or if I experience so little, And when I see these descriptions that do not apply to all yanis, and maybe it applies only for very rare yanis, I can't help but I remember of Ramana Maharaj. Advaita also experienced duality, but he does not see anything different from himself or herself, because she knows that there is only one self alone appearing as many, numberless namarupas. It's easy for us to see it consciously when we are doing this kind of nididhyasana. It's more difficult, not as easy to keep that perspective of darshana, the vision, during our interactions, so that you can see the beautiful self shining in any namarupa without get hooked up with the ego, ego games, or ego projections. Egos get hooked up very easily. Hooked up. Okay, so what more? What more? So we go slow to see if we can enjoy this for a few more, one more class. We did not go very far today. Yeah, maybe we have another 2 classes. Meanwhile, we decide what we're gonna do next. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. I say goodbye. I'm gonna go there count my chicken to see how many I'm missing. And we meet again tomorrow. Yeah, with the Mandukya. Namaste.
Brilliant. Thank you, Arlindo.
Thank you.
Bye now.